Hello and welcome to this episode of Demystified as we explore home cooking in a modern world. Hello and welcome to this episode of Demystified from the kitchen. Hello Paul, how you going?
I'm alright.
I'm Linda, by the way.
Hello, Paul.
I nearly squeezed it in. So it's been a busy week for you in the kitchen.
Yeah, pretty busy week. We've done a few different things. We don't want to spend too much time talking the latest, world global problems, but we've been sort of taking a different look at it rather than just maybe providing recipe content, maybe a few more tutorial things. So hopefully there'll be some stuff on the website. I think Joel said he would put it up maybe today or tomorrow. So we've done a big tutorial on breaking down a chicken and all the different parts and how you can use it. Quick few tips on how to cook it. Anything from roasting to butterflying out to totally portioning down a chicken into all the different parts, skin on, skin off, boned, boneless, the whole kit. So probably maybe one to look out for. I think it might be useful, especially at the moment with people buying a whole heap of food.
Well, I heard from one of my friends that he knew someone who couldn't buy chicken legs for her dog, and I thought,
Jeez,
wow,
fancy dog.
I know. I was going to say move in with that place. My cat doesn't be lucky to get fed.
Yeah.
But I saw you doing that, and that actually looked really amazing. And
yeah,
I think it's good at the moment when we can more easily maybe buy a chicken from different places and then look at how we cook it.
Yeah, and look at how we can break it down ourselves. If you can't get chicken legs, but you can get a whole chicken, well, at least you can see how you can take the legs off and pull it apart.
And don't forget, if you're cooking it, to then repurpose the carcass to make stock.
You're all about that now, aren't you?
I am totally all about that, and I'm doing it on Sunday to practice and take photos.
So what the other thing that we've been doing is, basically this week gone through a whole list of 90 odd recipes to figure out which ones are going to make the cut for our next book. The gaps that we've got, and I've actually done a few recipes this week to fill in a few of those gaps, I think. So we'll have a relook at that. So that's sort of been another little side project on the go, and Joel's doing newsletters and website updates and all sorts of stuff.
And you made a whole lot of chutney and ratatouille?
Yeah, chutney, ratatouille. So I had, we were talking in our other podcast about abundance. So I had, the weather started to cool down a bit and my tomatoes decided to not ripen. I planted them too late. So I had tons of green tomatoes. So I thought a green tomato relish would be a good way to use them. So did that. Ratatouille, that really comes back to buying, I think, what's available in an abundance at the moment, which isn't mincemeat,
or toilet paper, and not wasting food, because if you do find that you've got some peppers or onions, there's often ways you can cook it down into something. Yeah,
absolutely. You can pickle it, we talked about pickling. You can pickle them. You can roast your peppers or capsicums or whatever you want to call them, and you can stick them in a jar and immerse them in olive oil, and they'll keep for ages in your fridge. It's more about not being, I suppose it is being economical, but what I don't want to see come out of the end of this, I mean, we didn't want to really talk about it, but the end of this coronavirus thing is a whole heap of food going in the bin.
No. And I know that the ratatouille that you made.
Yes. It's the name of the movie,
I wish
too,
you
by the
would
way.
Just, speak in English sometimes, Paul.
Yeah.
But we had it at night. We had it with fish, which was fantastic. It really dressed up the top of the fish, and the rest of it's gone into a couple of different smaller containers for later. So
yeah, and things like that are pretty versatile. It was just a quick throw together for me, but things like that are pretty versatile. That's appropriate for fish, chicken, beef, turkey, duck, lamb, pork. Who cares? Or even on its own, with some crusty bread and a bit of cheese, if you like. It's just good to have just a little versatile something that you can just pull out and it's ready to go. And
Particularly at the moment, I think it's great to have those in your fridge. If you do find that you have to go to the supermarkets and you look at the queues and the car park and you think, oh no, please.
If you can turn around and walk out and you got that in your freezer or something like that, yeah.
And I'm very happy because I am staring at my gorgeous little MacBook which came back, and I
Are you angling for a Mac?
No,
some sort of sponsorship from Apple?
No, but I do love it, and I did miss it, and I do thank Beyond the Box for taking such good care of it.
How's the plug?
I know.
So there's a freebie.
Oh, I wish. But no, they did a great job, and I'm very happy it's back. Yeah, it was a bit stressful, as you know. But other than that, it's been a busy week, and I hope that everyone who is finding themselves cooking can think about the great things that it's giving us now that we're spending maybe some more time at home, to look at some old recipes, to get out the things that you might have learnt when you were a kid or that you want to teach to your kids.
It's very calming too, cooking, so it might take away a bit of the stress. Switch your phone to silent, turn the telly off, turn the radio off for a bit, and just cook. And the good thing about cooking is that you actually have to concentrate, and it kind of forces you to concentrate on that and that alone. So if you're a bit overwhelmed, which some of us can be at these peculiar times, get cooking. Why not?
Well, that's exactly.
Have a glass of wine.
That's what Dougie likes, because I have been a bit overwhelmed.
Dougie likes it when you cook.
I know.
Dougie's...
Unlike some of us in the room, Paul. But
but Dougie,
But he does notice that my stress levels go down when I leave all the crap that I've had to try and manage, and getting home through that traffic and
I'm a bit suspect about this. So I think Doug's saying to you, geez, you're looking a bit stressed, you better do some cooking. I don't know how genuine that is. I think Dougie's looking for the advantages, the end result that comes out. So.
He might be, but it does actually calm me down, and I do always feel completely in control and more relaxed.
Really? Completely in control?
Completely, because it's something that I can manage. I can't manage to help in my other life, the people that I'd really like to help with clients. I can't manage solving this crisis. I can't get through to people that we can stop panicking and we need to be nice to each other, because the people who get it, and those who are panicking are still going to panic because they can't think clearly. It's overwhelming to them. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Have a cook-up.
So, have a cook-up. That's great. And buy fresh, buy local.
Yeah.
And don't waste.
Yeah, don't waste.
And if you have found yourself with a whole range of fresh fruit and veggies that you're not sure what to do with,
just think outside of what you know.
Exactly.
And do some research. Look, we're not the only provider of content on the internet for as far as recipes, but do some research. Get it out there.
You'll find
a recipe for everything. Like there is a recipe for everything.
You put the ingredients into Google and hit enter, and it will come up with something.
And you don't necessarily have to have every single ingredient. No. That's the other thing. If you're short 2 ingredients, don't worry. As long as those 2 ingredients aren't salt and butter.
You and salt and butter.
But as long as if you have salt and olive oil in your life and a whole lot of ingredients, there's a whole lot of things you can make. So, if you're short a few ingredients when you do your Google search, don't worry. Just push on.
Great. Thank you for that, Paul.
No worries. See you next
everybody.
Week. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this podcast as we explore home cooking in a modern world. We'd love you to subscribe, and for more information, please go to our website, cookingwithsteam.com.